Thank you for tuning in again. This is the next video in the series, and it's going to be about Brexit. Here we go again, but there has been a lot of developments that have gone on in the last few weeks, and I think it's certainly worthwhile revisiting what's happening in the United Kingdom at the moment, because it does have serious repercussions going forward. We do now have a date that has been set by effectively the European Union, not necessarily by the British Parliament. The inactivity of the British Parliament to make a decision to basically carry out the will in a referendum that was 2.5 years ago, well, over 2 years ago in June 2016, has been an absolute nightmare. Sorry, June 2017 has been an absolute nightmare. So here we are at the situation where the European Union, especially Macron, the French Prime Minister, has set a date for the United Kingdom to make up its mind. It's going to be the ultimate Halloween party, 31st of October. So what does this mean? I mean, in light of what's happened with May's failure as the Prime Minister, the failure to unite the country, the failure to govern the country, the failure of the government to focus on anything else for the benefit of the country other than Brexit, is something that the electorate is punishing the current government for. Now, unfortunately, sometimes politics overrides the economy, because politics is involved with the nation state, and when it comes to the nation state, often economics takes a side view until things, inverted commas, get sorted. And what we're seeing is a great divide in the UK. We're seeing a four-way split. We're seeing the left and the right, a Conservative and Labour, distilled into a Brexit pro and an anti, a remaining stance. Now, I see benefits to an independent United Kingdom, so you can tell from my accent that I'm from that neck of the woods. But I also see benefits in remaining. But you see, ultimately at the end of the day, no matter what one's views are, if we live in a democratic society, I'm not going to get overly political here, but I do think the point needs to be made that you do have to, if 52% of the people in a plebiscite voted, that's the majority, tough on the 48%. Because if you don't, what happens when there's something else that the other 52% don't agree with, which are 48%, then they want another result, and then democracy fails. If democracy fails, the nation state fails. If the nation state fails, then the economy suffers, investments suffer, your future suffers. So it's really important that this gets sorted out. Now what I'm going to do is, later on in this video, I'm actually going to do a scenario analysis, but I want to revisit basically what's happening in the political sphere anyway. And this is really, really, really important. I can't exaggerate this any more than what the media is doing at the moment. And then I'm going to do, as I said, a scenario analysis based on this. You see, as far as the political parties go in the United Kingdom, it's about political survival. It's about political survival, stupid. You know what I mean? It's not about the economy, stupid. It's about political survival. In 6 weeks, with the formation of the Brexit Party, they took 32% of the vote. 32% of the vote. They took the highest percentage of vote of any party in the European elections. And what this did is this absolutely sent the career politicians who've never had a job in their life and probably wouldn't be successful in one. You name me the politicians in your hand that have ever run a successful business and you know, then gone into politics. It's often they've gone into politics and messed up whatever portfolios that they've been given. No wonder the people are so annoyed at politicians in general throughout the world. But anyway, Conservative and Labour will get decimated by the electorate. And the reason being is what will happen is that in strongly Labour seats which are north of London, strongly Conservative seats which are in the southeast and north of London, where there is a candidate that's pro-Remain, the Brexit Party will put a candidate in, and likely they may win that seat. So there are a lot of career politicians in the United Kingdom that have realised, especially in the Conservative Party, that, well, I think they got 7 or 9% of the vote. They're going to get wiped out. So this is about political survival now. So the two-party status quo is hanging in the balance. So let me just show you this particular slide here as well. Now here's a YouGov poll that was done between the 9th and the 10th of June. You can see that this mirrors out what I'm saying, and this was about, I think it was over 1,500 voters in the United Kingdom. It's another small poll. 26% Brexit Party, 22% Liberal Democrats, which are usually a party that you vote for in the United Kingdom as a protest party. Labour 19, Conservative 17, Greens 8, etc. So what this effectively means is that the two major parties, if a Brexit candidate goes up against them, they're history. And the problem is, or the nice thing is, depending what side of the fence you're on, Brexit is a one-issue party. So this must be telling the British political elite, you better get this sorted out, because if you don't sort it out, there's always the potential for a civil war. I'm a great student of history, and you just have to look back, for example, and it was England then, not the United Kingdom, in the 1640s, 1650s, with the battle between Cromwell and Charles I, between the Roundheads and the parliamentarians and the royalists. Economy didn't matter then. Trade almost came to a standstill while the political nation states sorted things out. And you've got to remember that when nationhood is involved, it's very, it goes from, whether you like it or not, it goes from the individual, it goes then to the family, it goes to the town or village, it goes to the county, it goes to then the country, and then it goes to this idea of a global economy, which you can't put your finger on because you don't even know who do you call when there's a problem. Who's your representative? Who's got the power to sort out your problems? Who's the judiciary? This is what this is against. This is purely and simply against power going to people who have no face, have no accountability. So that's the politics side of things and the history side of things. I mean, in Ireland, for example, you can tell by my accent that I'm from that neck of the woods. In the 1920s, there was a civil war in Ireland, and it's very similar. It was pro-treaty, anti-treaty. Pro-treaty was for the creation of the 6 counties in Northern Ireland, and there was a civil war over it. The American Civil War, basically over state rights and slavery. So when civil wars do come out of issues like this, and national issues will always take precedence over the economy. The economy tends to sort itself out later. So at the moment, what we're seeing is a battle for political survival in the United Kingdom, and it's having absolutely detrimental effects on the economy because things aren't getting done. I have family over in the United Kingdom, and they tell me the NHS is a mess. There's no action on anything. Everything is just paralysed while the politician can't sort things out. So you can imagine what the business people are feeling like. They're absolutely feeling that come on, get on with it, basically. But as we've seen in the polls, it looks like the winner, the front runner as far as the Conservatives are concerned, are Boris Johnson, providing he doesn't put his big feet in it. Now, I know, as I say, I'm not worried about who politically gets what, but there is a scenario analysis in this because there are very strong forces on the other side. Now, let me go through to some of the ideas, and this is what we have to look at from the investments point of view. Let's just say Boris Johnson gets elected. He has been from the beginning an ardent supporter of the Brexit process. Credit to him, he hasn't diverted from that view in the first place. Now let's just say, from the point of view that it starts looking, we're getting close to the 31st of October. We can see that sterling gets sterling gets absolutely hammered basically in the markets. It's 126ish at the moment, so it's very fragile. Because a lot of businesses will not know what's going on, and as the deadline nears and no deal looks like in the offing, what's going to happen is uncertainty means that the currency is going to get hit. The currency gets hit, it also means shares get hit. So let's just assume that Boris goes over to Brussels and Tusk and Barnier et al. No, we're not budging. We're not budging because bureaucrats tend to dig in, and as I said before, they tend to be career politicians, and they tend to lose reality of the people who matter in life, you and I. So let's just say Boris comes back, and he's a latter-day Neville Chamberlain, and says it's a no deal for our time. Well, what does this mean? It means there's no 35 billion pounds that are paid to the European Union. So the French are going to be hopping mad because they're almost bankrupt and they need those subsidies for their farmers. They probably also need that money to pay off the Italian bank fiasco, let alone what's happening with Deutsche Bank and Commerzbank. So this leaves a bit of a hole in their finance as well. So it really isn't up to their bargaining tools to get this money off the United Kingdom. But I get the idea that Mr. Johnson, not going to do that. No, we're not paying you 35 billion as a divorce deal. It's been painful enough over the last 2.5 years. Why should we pay you any more? So let's just say sterling collapses, the FTSE collapses, the bureaucrats pull their hair out, or from their bald skulls if necessary. Then the people, what happens? Once it happens, then the people of Britain just pull their socks up and get on with it. Because, you see, they put their nation first. It's going to be difficult if a no Brexit, no deal happens. It's going to wipe some businesses out, no doubt about that. But you know, at the moment, the stalemate can't benefit the United Kingdom in any way whatsoever. And yes, I feel sorry for those people who want to remain. There are many benefits of the EU that will disappear. But there are many drawbacks that should make Britain a stronger place as well, and it's going to take time and a lot of pain. You see, the whole point is that if sterling goes down and the FTSE goes down, from an investment point of view, there might be some good buys out there. I wouldn't necessarily touch gilts, but you know, in terms of shares and as we call them, shares instead of stocks, shares. Venture capital investments, direct investment in, rejuvenation, less burdensome regulation, World Trade Organization terms, things will start to stabilize, and what you'll see sterling go up, and you'll see the shares rebound. And so the scenario is that things will never get back to EU normal, but they'll get back to some sort of normality. And there could be opportunities that are being missed here, so keep an eye out. Just because things don't look good now doesn't mean to say from an investment point of view that there aren't bargains to be had. There's always bargains to be had. You just have to pick the right time to buy or sell. So it's just an idea, just to give you a sort of update on Brexit. What's likely to happen? I believe is likely no deal to happen, and I believe that, as I said, sterling and the FTSE are going to take a hammering. But I'm looking for bargains if there are opportunities there. And yeah, just going forward, keep an eye on things, because politics drives economics. It's not the other way around. You see, it's about nations. It's not about politics. It's about, that's what it basically is. And if you forget that, then you really aren't understanding what opportunities could exist in the future. So I'll leave you with that, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you and bye.